I definitely was going to. All right, now we are recording. Thanks for reminding me. And then go ahead and get this guy pulled up as well. Oops. All right. So I'm gonna minimize this, kind of just put it over here on the left. That way we can still see the automation in the background. I'll try to keep it as clean as possible. Oops. And so you can kind of see on the left over here, a little bit of trading view, and then over on the right is where the orders are actually getting set up here. I'll just kind of keep this in the middle because I put it on full slideshow. It'll take up the full screen. Alrighty, so this is the automation trading program that I've been working on for quite some time now. This is on the 15-second time frame. I normally don't ever automate below the 2-minute. There's a lot of reasons for that. One, less profitable, less of a win rate, and then two, like it's just going nonstop. Like I'm sure we'll get like, I'm gonna guess like maybe 5 trades within this stream here. Automation trading program, I'm going to kind of go over at first like the frequently asked questions, at least the ones that I've gotten so far. And feel free to just fire off questions if you have them during this time. That's what this section is for. So what all is included in the program? Essentially, I've created a step-by-step tutorial. It's in a PDF version. I've also created videos walking you through the setup process. So the initial setup between softwares is probably the most difficult part. It should take you a couple of hours to put together. I estimate maybe 1 to 3 hours, depending how tech savvy you are. But once you set it up at first, it's good to go after that. Literally, you just turn things on. So the initial setup take you a few hours, is what I imagine. But and then what else is included inside of the program is a bunch of YouTube videos to navigate the software. I've created like a bunch of introductions, getting you used to not only TradingView, but NinjaTrader and how they are working together here. I've also created like the setup and optimization videos for them. So you're going to set up your softwares. And then after that, you're going to want to optimize your trading strategy for the time frame you're looking at and different settings along those lines. So I've created a bunch of optimizations within the trading strategy itself that you literally just turn on and off. You don't even really have to know what they are. It's a good thing if you do, of course, but you kind of just click a button and toggle them on and off and see how it affects your results. I'll go through at the end how you can quickly tell if it helped your results, if it negated, like took away too many winning trades versus losing trades, all that sort of stuff. So the optimization is really the main work you're going to be putting into it after the initial setup. And then I've also created a bunch of videos talking about recommendations and tips and how to not let the automation blow your accounts and how to use them just in tandem, how to have more than one automation going, a whole bunch of content in that to get you going besides just the basic initial setups. On top of that, I've also created templates for your automation. So I've created settings that I've been testing the last month or two and really created like templates for you guys to start out on with all the settings, everything you might want to incorporate and, to keep your number of trades high, as well as your win rate and your P&L and all sorts of things that is important to an automation trading strategy. So on top of this, I've also created a compendium that walks you through the whole setup. If you ever have to go back and set anything up or some account logs out or anything along those lines, you can always go back to this, and it has the step-by-step instructions for you. It also has the templates. It also has links to the YouTube videos and additional content that I found helpful when I was figuring out how to do all of this and all sorts of things inside of this compendium here. And then I've also created automation examples, the full setup, watching them play out and recorded them, kind of talk through it while I'm setting everything up and on YouTube as well in a new playlist essentially. And then of course I'll be here to troubleshoot and help you with any sort of customer support at all, pretty much. Any questions you might have, or if you're having trouble setting anything up, anything along those lines, any sort of support you'll have, and then personalized customer support. So troubleshooting really can come down to, once you have like a week worth of data, what can I do to try to make this better? So I'll go over later. We're going to have weekly meetings to just talk about what we thought worked well, what we might change for the next week, and all that sort of stuff. And so that's the basis of what's included into the program. And then I also had this question: is it a subscription? It is an initial payment for the learning content of the program. Essentially, you also get 2 months free access to the trading plan that I've automated here in the background. So as you can see here, we just got our stop fill. This is on the 15 seconds, so it's going to be going rather quickly through trades and everything. I'll show you guys later on how I customized this for this 15-second time frame. I didn't put a whole lot of effort into it. I probably could have made it a little bit better. Most definitely could have. But anyway, I just really wanted to show it firing in between the two softwares was the purpose of this. So and then after the 2 months, I chose 2 months for several reasons. One, you should be passing your evals within those first 2 months of the automation, like fully going on whatever timeframes you want to apply it upon. And so both of these are available on the website. More information on that is on my website. This 2 month of free access to the trading plan is allowing you time for the setup. It's allowing you time to troubleshoot, change settings, and then passing your evaluations to performance accounts. And then, as I mentioned earlier, weekly meetings for support, troubleshooting, and kind of changing around your optimizations for either better results or more winning trades, whatever you might want to be targeting there. So a couple more frequently asked questions is, what else will I need? Essentially, what you will need is you'll need to download a couple softwares. They're all free to download, so nothing big there or anything. But then on top of that, you also need a prop firm Tradevate account. So you can use whatever prop firm you really want. I think all the ones that I use, at least, all have Tradevate accounts. The one I would recommend is Apex, at least to start. Top Step and Take Profit Trader are also really great ones in different ways. They are great, which I can cover that in another time. But essentially, you need to create a Tradevate account. You can get one for like roughly $30 from Apex right now, so it's not a big out-of-pocket cost there. And then you'll need to download and link the software tools, which I have step-by-step guides on how to link them. And then on top of that, you'll have to pay $5 a month for an API service. This is not my API. I just want to throw that out there. But it is what is going to be linking a few of our softwares together. And then, so how difficult is it to set up? I kind of went over this, but initial setup, I expect it should take somebody 1 to 2 hours to get it all set up, get your optimizations, and get a strategy automated, essentially. If you're a little bit less tech savvy, it might take you a little bit longer than that. But after the initial setup, it's going to be really easy to manage. You can toggle them on and off with the click of a button. You can essentially, all you have to do is like turn things on. So I'll come down here and I'll start my webhook, and as soon as I click that button, everything's good to go after the initial setup. So it's real quick and easy after the initial setup. And then flexible management, you can deploy and manage your automation in as much or as little as you really desire. So you can set it up on Sunday to run all week, and you can just come back and look at it on Friday if you want, or you can look at it on each day and maybe try to make some changes, something along those lines. And I give you a whole bunch of recommendations and tips on how to fully get started, as well as I give you the templates that I've been using for over a month now, and you can get started with those essentially. So kind of moving on, the program contents of it. So you'll have the setup instructions for your automation. You'll have the trading plan 1 automation strategy, which is what I'm using over here. And it's essentially relaying information from this software, TradingView, over to NinjaTrader, where the actual trades are being placed. And NinjaTrader just has a lot more automation features. That's essentially why. And then after that, you can watch all the self-recorded YouTube videos that I have on learning content, on making sure you're not using too much position size, or how to set up your different strategies over here, all sorts of different things. You have the running compendium, which I'll continually update. I give you JSON payloads and I give you ways to test them. If you're not familiar with what that is at all, it's essentially a coding language that's going to tell this software what to do on this software. It's the easiest way to sort of explain it there. And again, I have templates for this. You really don't need to use much else except for my templates. If you want to get a little more fancy, once you're, you're a little more experienced, then I'm here to, I'm here to help you throughout that process. But the JSON payloads used between these two really aren't all that complicated. But I give you templates, so you don't really have to worry about that either. And then the templates for the automation. So the actual strategy that we'll be firing, as you can see here, we have green, and then it turns to black and whatnot. So there's different settings you can toggle on, where as soon as this turns green, it'll fire a buy signal. And then as soon as it turns red, which will happen up here, it'll fire a sell signal. And then there's a whole bunch of optimizations that you can apply towards that to not just take every signal, but take signals that fit within your parameters, essentially. And these come in, I've added a whole bunch to it, like volume, volatility, momentum, optimizations for this automation strategy. And then recommendations, tips for automation success. This is extremely important. At the beginning, I was using a profitable strategy, but I was trying to automate too much, essentially. And that can essentially make things not profitable if you try to do too much. And so I give you tips for success on that. And customer support, weekly meeting. Of course, there's going to be a whole nother Discord channel essentially here, just to talk about sharing optimization strategies, what's been working, what's not. I can help you troubleshoot JSON payloads or anything along those lines throughout this process as well through the Discord. And then anything that I add to this, any extra content, any optimizations that I add to the trading plans, anything along those lines are all free after the after you are in the program, essentially. So kind of moving along here. So these are some of the functions that I currently have inside of the strategy itself. So these are going to be sort of your optimizations. I wanted to go a little bit deeper into exactly what they are essentially. So if you wanted to just trade buy signals, or you wanted to just trade sell signals, you can toggle these on and off with just a click of a button. And it will only take longs, it will only take shorts, that sort of thing. You also have a bunch of conditions that you can change in it. So like you can change your overbought, oversold levels was the example I had here. You can change, if you wanted to only take trades where this ADX is agreeing with it, essentially. If you want to, if you want to set more stringent parameters on it, I guess is the best way to put that. And then the trade optimizations as well. I've built in a couple of different like trend filters for it. So not only does our main, like let's go with 55-200 EMA have to be crossed up, there's a couple of other optimizations there to where you can ensure that other EMAs are crossed up, give you a little bit more confidence within the trade and boost your win rate. You can also only take trades that are like expanding volatility or contracting volatility, for example. And then there's a couple other like momentum filters. As you can see, these backgrounds in green and red are a different sort of momentum indicator that's overlaid onto this that essentially will add to your confidence within the trade. If you see this color background, then you are being oversold and it's time to look towards buys, is why it's green here. And again, all of these are just clicked on and off by a click of a button. That's why I say you really don't even have to know what they do per se. I have videos explaining what exactly they all do if you do want to know. But again, these are all toggled on and off with a button switch. And then if you want to make sure that volume is significant or volume is insignificant, there's also a button inside of the strategy itself there for you. So and then on top of that, we have risk management settings. So you can change your risk to reward. Say you're risking 10 points and you want to ensure that every single trade you are getting at least 15 points out of that. That is very easy to do. And if you want to target more than that, it's very easy to do. You can set multiple targets, multiple different stop losses. You can spread things out and really take it as far as you want with this, really. And then you can change around your stop distance. You can look at trades between a stop distance as well. So like if you have if you don't want to take all of the trades, but you only want to take trades that are between, let's say, 5 and 10 points of risk, you can toggle that on as well. Again, with just a click of a button. You can change around your position size to fit within your risk parameters. I have videos going over all of these just to go in further depth. But then on top of that, I have another trend filter on there that you can toggle on and off. And essentially, let's just say you're looking at the 5 minute, but you want to ensure that the 1 hour 55 200 EMA cross is also in agreement with your trade. It'll essentially filter out to where you're only taking buy signals if the 1 hour EMAs are crossed in the same direction as your buy signal. So this is another very important filter. If you have this toggled on it and the correct settings for whatever time frame you're looking at, it does increase the win rate significantly. I guess the best way to put that. And then again, if you want to only have it trading on certain days, say you don't want to take longs on Sundays, there's just a click of a button where you can turn off and it won't trade any Sundays, or any day of the week. And you can do that separately for longs and shorts. So say you don't want to take longs on Fridays, which is some of my current settings, and I don't want to take shorts on Sundays because of how the macro environment has been. It's been more bullish on Sundays than bullish on Fridays is the best way to put that. So this is another optimization that can increase your win rate. And then sort of very similar here, but you can turn off specific times of the day. So if you don't want to take trades, let's say an hour before the market closes, you can toggle on certain time frames. You can separate these out between longs and shorts. Or you don't want to take any trades that are happening overnight or anything along those lines. There is essentially just a click of a button that you can toggle on and choose what time of the day it's actually going to be automating your strategies. So essentially, upon the base strategy, which essentially would fire every time that this line here turns green, and the EMAs and all the conditions are being met within the strategy, you can optimize your strategy much further into your liking based upon these functions. These are really easily input into the strategy. Again, just a toggle on and toggle off. Here, I'll show you guys while I'm mentioning that. So essentially just a toggle on and toggle off sort of scenario. And same for all of these. If you want to toggle them all on or just have a few of them on, it's very straightforward and easy to apply there. And again, these are all very easily testable to see if it's actually helping your strategy or hurting it. So for example, if I were to just toggle on, let's just take away sell signals, it'll populate here with what just my buys were profitable here. And if I want to toggle those back on, or if I want to use an optimization here, as you can see, that boosted the win rate, but it also took away 35 trades or so, but it kept your net profit roughly the same. So you would want to use this optimization because it increases your win rate overall. Little things along those lines. I won't go much more in depth than that, but just as the optimizations and the automated strategy functions itself, very easy to toggle on and off and to essentially, see what works for you and what works on that time frame. So I created a little list here why the automation may be for you. The main reason, to me at least, is I get to enjoy the benefits of daily passive income. I don't have to be sitting on my computer all day to be making money each day in the markets. Now, if you are going to hold on, I'm in a trade here, but it's not showing. That's why. Oh, I see. It's that's actually on one of my other accounts, so apologize about that. So why automation may be for you is a simple setup and execution, minimal maintenance required. There's, you set up the automation, you can walk away and monitor your progress at your convenience. Another major reason is you can leverage the prop firm's money to make you a daily passive income. So this is the whole point of this is to not really be risking your own money. If you would like to, you can automate in crypto, you can automate in the futures market like this, or you can automate like in your investment portfolio, all utilizing this the same setup essentially. And then on top of that, yeah, you can automate in any of these 3 platforms, so traditional, crypto, or futures, and maximize your productivity essentially. So you're going to free up your time for whatever activities you're doing. If you have another full-time job, if you want to use this to in your investment portfolios, spend time with family, whatever you want to do. This is going to save you time from looking at your computer all day, and also drastically decrease the amount of stuff you have to learn to be able to be profitable in this. So another thing that I wanted to input in here, and it's something that I use. If I go out, let's say I go grocery shopping, and I get a notification on my phone that one of the strategies fired off, and I'm in a position, I can just watch this by downloading a desktop remote application, such as like the Google Chrome desktop. Essentially, I can control my computer from my phone then. So if I wanted to close out of the position, if I wanted to change my risk around, anything along those lines, you can just manage it from your phone as well. So you don't really have to worry about leaving too much, anything along those lines. So I left this going for a whole 10 days that I was in Canada, came back and, went through the data and the results of it all, and was pretty satisfied with the results, I guess the best way to put that. So another major portion of this is the hardest part with trading as sort of an algorithmic sort of style. If you're manual trading, is remaining consistent enough to be profitable, because in an algorithmic sort of style of trading, you are essentially trading to. So if you're back testing, you're taking every single trade that is on the chart in that back testing. Okay, so this is going to increase your consistency, so you don't miss a trade. So you are actually getting the actual results that are displayed over here. And then another thing I wanted to put in here is it's essentially you can automate this into as many accounts as you really want. So it has a built-in copy trader, if you will, essentially, to where you just type in your different account names for the strategy. And if you have, let's say, 5 accounts within that strategy, it's going to send the signal to all 5 accounts all at the same time. They'll all have the same entry and the same exit points. And if you move your stop loss around for one, it's going to get moved around for the others. And so it has a built-in copy trader so you can have 20 accounts with Apex. So you could essentially 20x this number by utilizing the copy trader that I put into it. And so kind of moving on here, expectations that I have for this automation program is I've been finding immense success. I haven't even been placing my own manual trades, maybe like a couple in the last like month or two. I've mostly just been spending all my time either, optimizing this to the full amount, creating the YouTube videos and the content to teach it to other people, or I've just been managing my investment portfolios, as I'm sure a lot of you have noticed. And so based on my experience and the detailed guides that I've created for you, I expect this to take you guys a lot less of time. So I do expect you guys to pass your evaluations utilizing this within the first month. And then as long as you don't change any settings, you don't get too greedy, you don't try to automate 10 things onto one account, for example, you're going to begin receiving payouts by the end of the second month is my expectations for this. The results that I've been seeing, this is very achievable. So that's just one way to put that there. So again, this is a cost-effective way about doing things. You can easily have the automation program pay for itself within the first couple of months. Efficient optimization. So really, you only need to spend, like, if you really wanted to, you can spend 1 to 2 hours per week just optimizing your automation. Maybe we have a meeting and we talk about things that work for us. You take some of those notes and you go and apply that to a new automation strategy for yourself to maybe change things up a little bit better, something along those lines. But you really don't need to spend a whole lot of time in this once it's all set up. And again, this is going to generate you passive income for the long term. Once you have one that you like, you don't even have to turn your computer off after Friday if you want. You could just wait till the market opens again on Sunday and keep it going. You could also use like an Amazon Web Services provider, and you could just set this up with them, and they keep it running on their computers full time with your accounts in it. I haven't done that yet because I want to be able to be in control for myself, but that is an option as well. So, and then flexible trading options, you can utilize this for manual trading. You can utilize it for completely automated trading, or you could be semi-automating it, which is essentially watching your trades be put on, and then you can choose to move around your risk management, move around your targets if you think you can perform better than the automation itself, essentially. And then lastly, this has a built-in copy trader into it. So you can utilize it on multiple accounts, as many accounts as you want. You can put 20 strategies onto one account if you want. I personally wouldn't recommend it, but there's no limit really on the number of accounts or strategies that you can put this onto. And so the reason why I say the number of strategies is because, like, pulling this up, for example, if I had, let's just say, these settings here, but I change one thing. Let's say I take this off. Okay, this is going to change my results. And so that is a whole nother strategy in itself. So now it's going to be taking 36 more trades by having this toggled off than it was toggled on. So there's a vast amount of variance that you can have within this one trading strategy. And so you change around one setting. Let's change around this one. I know takes away a lot of trades, but you can target a lot higher on your risk to reward. And so that's actually interesting. It didn't change it a whole lot there. Seems like it's a lot better for the sell signals at the present moment than the shorts. So long story short, there's a bunch of small optimizations you can make and then create different strategies for yourself that you can then test. Now you can test all of these onto a sim account. So you don't have to pay, you just have to have an account to be able to use this software. But you can create as many of these sim accounts as you would like here and be able to automate one strategy on each and then kind of troubleshoot as you go and all that sort of things. And so there's a whole bunch of scalability that you can do within this. I would recommend starting small, of course, and then kind of building up to what your final result might want to be. And so yeah, so I think here's the last slide that I had. So start automating and trading today. Daily passive income is here. So if you are interested, you can go and visit my website here. I did change it a couple weeks ago to rileupquantitativefinance.org. A couple of reasons for that I may go into later on. But you can find additional information here, a couple of YouTube links all on the same page. You can submit your payment here. I can get you added to the program, the YouTube videos, the compendium, all sorts of things. Within an hour or so, ideally. And then you can get your automation strategy sent to you. So I will send this automation strategy over to you on TradingView, and you'll have access to all the videos on how to set it up and begin automating. Literally, you could set it all up in one day if you would like. And so I'm making this extremely known here because I know there's a lot of softwares and there's a lot of things going on, but I'm going to be very available for you guys during the initial setup. And while you're going through the setup process and everything, if any problems persist, I'm happy to hop on a quick call with you and help you fix the problem. We can share screens or anything along those lines. And then as you're working through especially like the step-by-step guides on setting up your accounts and everything, if you have any feedback, if you feel, maybe add this into it, it might help the next person, something along those lines, feel free to let me know. Nobody has worked through the steps except for me. I've created the steps as detailed as I possibly can. And I even went through it and did it again while I did that. But again, it wasn't my first time. So feel free to leave me feedback if the step-by-step guides could be a little more detailed. And then lastly, if you want to pay in one payment, you don't want like a monthly fee or a monthly amount or whatever, that is an option. But there's also a pay over time option, which allows you to split the payments out over how many ever months I believe you like. I don't know if there's a restriction through the company I'm working with for that. But the company is called Klarna, Klarna. It's on my website. You don't have to do anything different if you choose that option, but it can split the payment out over months instead of one payment, essentially. So I'll open the floor to you guys if you guys have any immediate questions. I think we got like at least, it looks like 7 or so minutes left. So feel free to fire away if you have any questions. and it'll
Yeah,
take this off.
I got a question for you, Ryan.
Yep.
And this is super cool, by the way. How do I know once I have TradingView set up,
Oh,
and
that's
the
me. That jumped
automator,
right.
once I have TradingView and the automator set up, how do I know what settings to use with this automated trading platform?
Yeah, so that's one thing. I've created templates for you. So essentially, I have tables built on a Google document. It's actually in the compendium that goes through all of these. Like, let's say I had all these clicked and I changed these numbers to 80 and I had some of these optimizations on. I essentially shared all of these settings with you to be able, so you can just pull this up and then follow the templates that I had, and you can start from there. And if you want to go, let's say you want to try some other things out after a week or 5 weeks or whatever, then these are all here. There's
So
also YouTube videos to teach you what each of these optimizations and what each of these things do.
yeah, so one of the things that I'm trying to figure out is if I could set this up in the background of my computer at work all day and just have it run and not have to do much by way of adjusting settings at all. Is that feasible, do you think?
Yeah, that's literally what I've been doing for quite a long time now, and generating great profits in my performance accounts as well as my eval accounts. So like I mentioned, I haven't been trading myself the last at least month, probably month and a half or closer to two. I've just been having the automation do it for me and trying out different settings and having it run in the background. Now, I've been spectating it the last month or so, but then the last, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks since I was in Canada, um, I had settings that I really liked while I was in Canada, came back and the results were really great. And it ran completely by itself for 10 days. I didn't even spectate, I didn't have any service. It was just running by itself. So yeah, that is definitely doable.
And again, that's like out of the box. I don't really have to change anything. I can just let it ride, or you're saying you have to mess with it and get the settings right and then it'll ride.
Yeah, after the setup, you can just let it ride, is the best way
Okay.
to put that.
After the setup that you're sharing with us to
Yeah,
use. Yeah,
yeah,
okay, cool.
exactly.
Sweet, thank you.
Yeah, I think he was just asking what I put in the chat there, like baseline recommended settings, like out of the box. So
Yep, I can here, I'll share with you guys real quick. Wrong one. Okay, all righty, Google. Anyway, actually, did I download it? No, I don't think I did. Let's see if I can get this quick enough. And I'll just kind of show you guys like the templates that I had set up. And I've shared different time frames, I've shared different assets, all sorts of different things here. So I think I put it under this, but actually let's go to, I copied and pasted it into the compendium here. So here's what the compendium will sort of look like, a bunch of step-by-steps for setting up your accounts. I got some pictures included in there for like complex parts. And then down towards the bottom down here is a bunch of templates that I've shared. So like for this example here, I'll just kind of run through it. It's on the 5-minute MNQ, so micro NASDAQ. This is including longs and shorts. It was a 44% win rate with 174 trades being calculated here. So these are statistics from 174 trades. It created 28K profit. And this was about over 3 months of time. I think I forgot to put that in here. But essentially, so like I shared my oscillator settings for the strategy. I shared how many points of risk I had, if there was any optimizations that I decided to use for each of the longs or shorts, what my position size was, like the R value that I targeted for this, the higher time frame filters associated with this. So which ones I chose to filter for the longs versus the shorts. If I turned off any specific days from it trading, so I didn't want it to take any longs on Fridays because that brought my win rate down, and I didn't want it to take any shorts on Sundays. And if I wanted to turn off any times of the day, so I found that by turning off from pretty much the market open 6 to 9 a.m. For shorts, increased my win rate by more than a couple of points here. I don't remember the exact number, but essentially these are the settings that you would have to plug into over here, and it would essentially save all of those settings and then be able to link it to your softwares, and then it would fire off based upon those settings that you toggled on. So
Cool,
Are
and
those
then when you,
exportable?
say that again.
Are those exportable by any chance? Like your strat settings?
Yeah, unfortunately not, because you can only save as default with these. I wish you could save templates of these. That would be freaking amazing. But no, TradingView doesn't allow that, unfortunately.
Oh, dang, I was gonna say maybe next steps for the next evolution. Also just had concerns over the back tester still with the numbers. Might get a little bit confusing as far as like the drawdowns and the like still being in the millions and that for the
Yeah. So I actually fixed that problem recently. So none of these settings here will do anything to the strategy anymore. I essentially defaulted all of these off in my code, and the only settings it will have here are going to spit out true numbers now. And I've been finding that these numbers are a lot more accurate now. So essentially, like I have this in a video too, but this is what your net profit would have been after 102 trades. It's saying that out of the 102 trades, if every single one of them were winners, essentially each one would have generated you an average of $82 profit. Now we know that's not true because you have losers that are 230, and then you have winners that are 550 with how this automation is set up here. And so 102 trades is what it calculated here. You have roughly a 40% win rate. And then overall, this is your profit factor of 1.6, which is weighing your winners to losers. And then a max drawdown here. This is telling you essentially you had, how many ever losers in a row that created this maximum drawdown for you. So again, I created a nice long video on how to use all these numbers when setting up your strategy. Because like for the prop accounts, for example, you don't want your number especially to be